On August 17th, 2026, Google Ads is going to go through a major update. And if you're an e-commerce brand owner who relies on Google Ads to generate sales for yourself, then you need to watch this video and action the points I'm going to be making in this video. If that is you, then pay attention. My name is Taz, and I run an e-commerce marketing agency called Pair Digital based in the UK. And since 2014, we've worked with over 300 e-commerce business owners to help grow and scale their businesses profitably using paid ads such as Google Ads, Meta Ads, email marketing, and website design and development. So if that's something that you're interested in, you need help with, then down below is a link where you can book a call in with myself and my team, and we'll run through all the options available to you to help grow your business. Without further ado, let's get into the video itself. So with Google Ads, currently at the moment, it's based on your target ROAS or target CPA. And what happens is Google performs as close to that as possible within the budget limit you've set. And in some cases, it performs over and above and beyond what you set at. So let's say, for example, you tell Google that your ROAS target is 4x. Google will do its very best within the budget limit you've set, £50 or £100 a day. Within that £100 a day budget, Google will perform as best as it could to get you sales as close to your target ROAS as possible. Now, what we've seen over the years is sometimes you are limited by budget, but Google is still getting you sales over and above your target ROAS or your target CPA. So if your target ROAS is say 4x, for example, Google is probably getting you sales at 5 or 6x. If your target CPA, or CPA being cost per acquisition, is £20, Google is probably getting you sales for £10-15. So that's actually a good thing. But what's going to happen on August the 17th and after that period is if you tell Google your target CPA or your target ROAS in this instance is 4x, Google will say to you, fine, we'll give you sales at the target ROAS you requested. That little bit of extra that you were getting before, you're not going to get anymore. And because of that change is essentially going to really kind of destabilize your accounts to some extent. And you really need to understand your numbers and everything. And in this video, I'm going to go through with you exactly what you need to do to mitigate those changes and really prepare your account for these changes so that you maintain your profitability and your overall performance. As I mentioned, the changes are going to come in on August 17th, 2026. And this means that some brands with unrealistic CPA or ROAS targets may see higher cost per acquisitions, lower ROAS, fewer conversions, changes in campaign spend allocation. Now, what do we mean, or what do I mean by unrealistic CPA and ROAS targets? A lot of brands I speak with, when I look at their audits and when I audit their ad accounts, they end up having a target CPA of 8-9x return. And when I ask them, what made you choose this number? Most of the time, they just said, because we want as much profitability as possible. But they can get away with having maybe a target ROAS of say 4, 5 or 6, but they're really setting it very high because they want as much return on ad spend as possible. Now, I get the logic of that, but if you're operating at that kind of unrealistic level, you're not taking into account your profitability, your operational cost of goods, your, the overall kind of cost of your business. And by not being realistic, you're actually going to be hurting yourself once these changes come into play. So by having such a high ROAS target, you're going to constrict the account already, but when these changes come into play, you're going to constrict it even more so in some cases. So it's really important that you have realistic expectations with your numbers. You understand your numbers of your business, such as your margins on your products, your profitability, your operational costs, your cost of goods, things like that, and factor all of those things into your ad account when you set your target CPA and things like that. Higher CPAs, we covered that already. Lower ROAS, obviously ROAS will get affected when this change comes into play. And fewer conversions if, again, you don't action the changes that I'm going to list out in this Google Doc for you. And again, throughout this doc, I've linked to various sources and articles which will give you more insight and a lot more information than I can cover in this video at this moment. So the checklist, what do you need to do? So first thing you need to do is identify campaigns using target CPA and target ROAS. Okay, so if you've got campaigns that are operating on a target CPA or target ROAS, find those campaigns and then start adjusting those target ROAS and target CPA numbers in line with your business objectives and in line with reality. Now, only you know what the numbers are. I can't give you a number for it, but if you're, for example, your break even is 2.5 ROAS, you've set your target ROAS at say 10, you can come down a little bit and maybe set it at 5 or 6, make it a bit more realistic so you're not constricting the account already. If you're happy to acquire a customer at £10, but you can spend a little bit more, adjust the budget around that and be realistic. That's going to be the running theme in this video today. Look at your performance max campaigns, standard shopping and search campaigns, and make sure that there's no anomalies, no weird reporting or anything like that at all, and check if they're showing limited by budget. Now, there's an article I've linked here from Google support which will give you more of an explanation as to what the limited by budget means and how the limited by budget is going to be affected once this change comes into play. But in a nutshell, say you've got a £100 budget and your target ROAS is say 4x. Google will do whatever it can within that £100 budget or less. So it's not going to go as close to the £100, but is going to go as close to it to get you the best possible result. You'll probably end up getting a 5x or a 6x return, even though you're limited by budget. What's going to happen now is Google is going to say, essentially, you asked me to set your target ROAS at 4, so I'm going to spend the whole £100 to get you as many sales as possible at a 4x return. So where you were enjoying a 5x return or a 6x return, you're now going to see that ROAS drop. So that's what the limited by budget essentially means. So you need to really kind of understand your numbers to really see how those numbers would be affected when it comes to limited by budget campaigns. Compare targets to reality. I know I covered this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. You need to compare all your numbers together. So let's say, for example, your target ROAS is 4, but your actual ROAS that's being reported in your Google Ads dashboard is 8.5. So you're getting more than double than what you've set. From August 17th, Google aimed closer to the 4. So it's not going to go anywhere near this target ROAS unless you set it as your target ROAS. So it's going to operate more closer to this number here. So potentially sacrificing efficiency to spend more on the budget altogether. Again, there's a link here to another article by the Common Thread Collective, which you can reference and kind of read through. But that's essentially what this change is. It's basically Google doing what you're telling it to do. And that may or may not be a good thing depending on what your target ROAS and target CPAs are. So that's really, really important that you do that. And you really kind of understand the numbers. And again, go away and read this Common Thread Collective article here. Decide what whether your targets are realistic. I know I covered this again. I'm going to mention it again. Really, really important to understand is this still my business target? Is it based on current margins, and is it aligned with today's costs? I speak to a lot of business owners when I audit their ad accounts, when my team audits their ad accounts. And one of the things we ask them is, when was the last time you set or looked at your target CPA or your target ROAS? Most of the time they said, well, we never have done it. Our agency previously or freelance or whatever it is did it. Or they turn around and say, we haven't touched it since 2017 or something like that. And that's not good. You're running a business and you need to really be on top of your numbers. So if your target CPA and target ROAS has not been looked at in more than, I'd say, 60 days, go away, look at it and recalculate everything based on these changes that are coming into play, because the only person that you're going to be harming by not doing any of that is yourself on there. So, look at your numbers and understand exactly what you're doing there around that. Okay, so, and make sure that your numbers and everything and your business objectives and targets are aligned with what you can get out of Google Ads for your business. Before August the 17th, adjust your targets, as I mentioned here. So let's say your target ROAS is currently at 4. Your Google Ads account is giving you more than double that, which is great. Okay, it's more like a freebie. What you need to do then, and this is just me throwing out arbitrary numbers here. Again, it all depends on the nature of your business and who you are. And again, if it's something that you're struggling with, then down below is a link. You can book a call in with me and my team, and we can do the numbers and the calculations and everything for you around that. If your target ROAS is 4, that's what you've set. Google is giving you 8.5, which is great. After the changes take place on August 17th, you may need to consider adjusting your ROAS target to something in between these two numbers here. So it's in between the 4 and the 8.5x return. Okay, again, this is just an example. If your target CPA is 60 and your actual CPA is 28, then you may need to consider, something like 30 or 40 pounds here. So again, look at your numbers, look at your business, and do what you need to do. And there's an article here which will give you a much better option around what to do and how to do it and everything else as well. Okay, so essentially what this section is basically saying that before August 17th, adjust your CPA and ROAS targets so they're more realistic for the changes that are coming into play. Budget reviews, again, self-explanatory. You need to really understand your daily budgets, your budget caps, are budgets being shared across campaigns, and if you need seasonal allocation for additional budget due to Q4 or other seasonal points within your business. Okay, again, that's pretty self-explanatory. So look at your numbers, look at your cost of goods, your operational costs, your profitability, your margins, and then work out what the overall budgets are and everything. Conversion tracking. Yo, people, this is a big one. I mean, look, conversion tracking is really, really important. It's a very simple thing to fix, and it's one of the biggest levers you can pull to get your business moving in the right direction when it comes to Google Ads. I've seen accounts where purchases are lumped in with initiate checkouts and abandoned carts as primary objectives. Google is reporting 3 sales, Shopify is only showing 1 sale. Google's reporting £1,000 in revenue, Shopify is only showing £500 in revenue. When you've got discrepancies like that, that's not cool. You're hurting your business. And if this conversion tracking issue that you're suffering from is not fixed or addressed or even noticed before these changes come into play, then when this change comes into play, your account will get really, really badly screwed. So you need to really look at your conversion tracking and make sure that it's accurate as possible. Now, there is delayed attribution in Google. Sometimes things don't get reported on the day. They take a few days to come through to the ad account. And there's always, I'd say, about 5% margin for error, which is somewhat acceptable, I'd say, in my opinion, depending again on the size of your business and everything. But if it's anything more than that 5%, if Google is reporting, say, £1,000 and Shopify is showing £500, that's a 50% error right there. So you need to really understand your conversion tracking and make sure it's set up correctly. And again, if it's something that you don't know how to do, you struggle with, you don't want to do it, you don't have the time to do it, down below is a link. Book a call in with myself and my team, and we'll happily look at your tracking and make sure it's set up correctly. If you don't want to do it yourself or don't know how to do it, then we'll do it for you. But getting that set up is really, really key. So conversion tracking is really important. And when it comes to your PMAX campaigns, you need to make sure that your asset groups are, doing really well, that you've got the right images, the right kind of creatives in there. You've got your product feed, which leads into your merchant center, really, dialed in, and your merchant center diagnostics are running really well. In other words, all your product descriptions and everything, make sure they're really well optimized within your merchant center. Just doing these two things alone, making sure that your feed quality is good and your merchant center is looking good, i.e. most of your products, if not all of your products, are approved and with no issues or anything, then that solves a lot of the problems already. And then start looking at your search term insights and audience signals as well. So the better your inputs, the better your bidding system will adapt more effectively. So Google is a system where you need to give it good inputs. The better your inputs, the better the performance. Follow that rule, you'll be fine. Profitability. So it's really important you understand your profitability, guys, and what your margins are, and this number here, customer lifetime value. Down below in the doc, I'm going to include a link where I'm going to show you how to work this out. Now, I'm a big believer, big fan, big advocate, a big screamer and shouter of customer lifetime value. And I speak to a lot of brands operating at 7, 8, even 9 figures where they haven't really fully worked out what the customer lifetime value is, which is then restricting their growth and their overall performance. So let's say, for example, I'm a business owner. I'm an e-commerce business. In fact, I am one. I've owned several e-commerce businesses in the past. One of the first things I ever did was work out my customer lifetime value. And the reason I did that, before I decided to focus on ROAS, which is a vanity metric, I wanted to do that because I wanted to know exactly how much a customer is going to spend with me over a 6 or 12 month period. Now, based on that information, I was then able to set my CPAs and my target ROAS targets within Google Ads and Meta and whatever else as well, but mainly in Google Ads, in a way that builds my business up. So when I worked out my customers spend £1,000 over a 12-month period with me, I then thought to myself, you know what? I'm happy to spend £50-60 acquiring a customer because I know in 12 months time that customer is going to spend at least £1,000 or more with me, and I'm happy to spend £50-60 acquiring that customer because it just makes sense for me. And if my profit, say at 50%, I'm making £500 on average per customer in terms of profit, so I'm more than happy to spend 10% of that profit in acquiring a customer. Working out that number, CLTV, customer lifetime value, is absolutely key. Just go ahead, and the formula is going to be in the doc. I'm going to include it after this video, and you can download the doc down below. You don't need to sign up to an email list or anything at all. Just download it, copy it, and start implementing the changes on there. So working out your customer lifetime value is really, really important, because that way you will be able to make more informed choices and decisions around what you need to do when it comes to your overall performance with your Google Ads. Now, we've done that, customer lifetime value, look at your repeat customers, and look at your contribution margins and everything. Now, what we've done at Pair Digital is we've implemented a system called the e-commerce roadmap, which is basically taking into account all your marketing channels, not just your Google Ads in isolation. We look at your Google Ads, your Meta, your email marketing, and your website's conversion rate optimization. So we make sure all these things are working together so that your business keeps moving and growing in the right direction. And if it's something that is of interest to you and you want to know more about how to utilize different marketing channels to work as one, then down below is a link where you can book a call in with myself, where I can discuss all the options with you and go through all the different kind of things we have available around how we can help all these different marketing channels working together. And how does this tie in with this? Because if you're solely relying on Google Ads to acquire customers, retarget customers and everything, and you're not utilizing other avenues such as email marketing, Meta ads, or anything at all, then you're really hurting yourself in the long run. You need to start thinking of your marketing as one big fat machine, with Google just being one part. If you're still operating in silos where you got Google separate, Meta separate, emails are separate, you're not doing yourself any favors. So it's really important that you join up everything together, because Google may not be as profitable, but you may make a lot more money through your email marketing if it's dialed in correctly. So Google does the acquisition, email marketing does all the retaining and retention and profitability. But if you don't have that dialed in, you're going to suffer over a long-term period of time. So making sure everything is connected and working well together gives you enough information about your new customers, repeat customers, returning customers, and things like that. I'm going to say this in a very polite way as possible. Monitor daily, optimize weekly, make major changes monthly. If you are the kind of person who expects your agency or your freelancer or you yourself go into your ad account every single day, 3-4 times a day, making tweaks and changes, doing this and doing that, you are hurting yourself and your business, because what you're doing is you're not letting the algorithm learn or exit that learning phase. If you stay stuck in that learning phase, your cost per sale is always going to be high. Your performance is going to basically tank. You need to let the algorithm breathe. You need to let the algorithm learn, and you need to let it do its thing so that it exits the learning phase as much as possible. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't make changes, but if you follow the framework I've just mentioned, which is monitor daily, optimize weekly, make major changes monthly. If you follow that framework, you'll be absolutely fine. But if you go in daily, every single day of the week, 3-4 times a day, making changes, doing this, doing that, you're going to hurt yourself. So really stop tweaking it every day and follow that framework that I've just mentioned. So when you're changing things, just to kind of add on that a bit more, do one thing at a time. So if you're going to go in and change something, do the budgets first. Then a couple of days later, adjust the targeting. A couple of days after that, look at the creatives or the copy or the text or anything. A couple of days after that, look at the audience signals. And again, click on this Google Doc to really understand how to make your bidding and your account a lot more stable by making these changes and when to make them. Now, monitoring performance after August 17th. So for the first 2 weeks, monitor your ROAS, your CPA, your spend, your conversion volume, impression share, revenue, and search lost in budget. So essentially monitor all these metrics and monitor for any big massive spikes, drops, things like that. That means the algorithm is doing its thing and doing what it's supposed to do overall. But you will see a bit of destabilization in the account when this change comes into play for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Whilst that's going on, when you make changes, don't make all the changes in one go. Make gradual changes every few days by doing one thing at a time. Okay, now timeline. So before August the 10th, audit your campaigns, especially the ones which are limited by budget, and this is obviously that's covered in point 2 there. Export your performance data into a CSV and really sit down with a cup of coffee and understand your numbers and everything else as well. Again, if it's something that you're struggling with or you don't want to do, you find it tedious, down below is a link, book call in, and we can look at the numbers for you and give you the best possible advice around that. August the 10th to the 16th. So get real, okay? Adjust your unrealistic targets to be a bit more realistic. Fix your tracking if you haven't done so already, and review your budgets. Okay, so doing these 3 things just before the changes come into play will have a massive impact in a positive way when it comes to your ad account. So on August the 17th and after August 17th, at least 2 to 4 weeks, avoid making any unnecessary campaign changes. So don't make any drastic changes. Monitor for your performance on a regular basis and try and keep up to date with any trends that you see. Allow your smart bidding to stabilize. So again, going back to what I said earlier, let the algorithm breathe and let it stabilize, and make incremental adjustments only where needed. So don't go in and start doing major changes where you're cutting the budget by 50% or increasing it by 100%. Keep everything small and micromanaged in that way. Don't do big things in one go, and don't do loads of small things in a short space of time. Take your time with it. The algorithm is going to be disruptive. It is going to cause a disruption in your account for a short while before things start to stabilize. If you implement the changes I've just shared with you, where you adjust your target CPA and your target ROAS to more realistic numbers, you fix your tracking, you understand your own business's numbers and implement them into your Google Ads, then a lot of the destabilization that you would experience will be minimized a great deal. So we've come to the end of this video. I hope you found this useful, and again, you can download this doc from below and really take it and action it and everything. And if you know any e-commerce founder who can benefit from this video, please share this video with them. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel and all that. And if you have any questions or anything at all, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll try my best to answer any question as often as I can. I answer to all the queries that come through myself personally, so you know, if you have a question, just give me a couple of days to respond. But I really hope this change that's coming into Google on August the 17th is positive for you. It doesn't disrupt your business too much. And like I said, if you have any questions, if you have any difficulties, if you want someone to look at your Google Ads account with a fresh pair of eyes, then down below is a link you can book a call in with me and my team. Thanks for watching this video, and all the best.